some research or some people believe, or science, even science behind it, there's some science behind it, that most men think of sex more than women. Do you guys think of sex?
We do. Yes, we definitely do. Yeah.
So can you prove that to me? Because we don't think you do think about it. We think we are the only ones who think about sex.
You
are really clueless when it comes to how we feel about sex.
Think about the act. Hi everybody. Welcome to Mike and Christelle podcast, where family meets faith and fun. Today we're talking about sex. Do men want more sex than women? If you like this episode, subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Thank you to all our listeners in Rwanda. In the last 30 days, our podcast was the first in the category of relationship in Rwanda.
Yay.
So thank you to you guys for listening to us. Thank you so much. And even in Uganda we were sixth.
Yeah.
So thank you to all our listeners everywhere.
Yay Rwanda, yay Uganda.
And everywhere. Thank you everybody.
Thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to our YouTube channel. Yeah. We really appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed, if you are new, join the family and let's just have a good time.
Great. Good. So, babe, we are talking about sex. Some people believe that we love sex, or we want sex more than you guys. Most couples are struggling with that tension between men asking for more sex and women have to navigate that balance between the demand and supply of sex. So, and I know every couple is different. Not every couple necessarily that the husband wants more sex than the wife, but we have heard from many couples that most men want more sex. Is that true? Is that something that is proven? Do you believe that is the case? Or what do you think?
Personally, I don't think it's true.
Okay.
I don't think it's true because I feel like women and men have different perspective on this topic, especially.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a different way of seeing things.
Yes.
I think women want the connection. And the connection includes everything, includes sex, include time together, include fun together, include all that.
Yeah. So when we are
whereas
talking
men,
yes,
I don't think most of them think about the
connection,
the
surrounding. So we can say that it depends on what you mean by sex.
Yeah, I think
Depends on what you mean by sex. For most men, sex is the intercourse. Sex is the actual act of two bodies coming together. That is sex for men. While you are saying for women, sex is not just that. The definition of sex is broad. It's all that leads to it. A good relationship, good communication, and connection, and foreplay, and all that is part of what you guys call sex.
I think so. Yeah, and I think it's not necessarily the act that count. It's what leads to the act. It needs to flow.
Yeah.
It's a flow of.
So in your opinion, you are saying, I just want to capture what you are saying. You are saying, if we say men want sex more than women, you say, wait a moment. How do you define sex? Before you answer that question. Because if you are talking about the actual act, then that is different. But sex for you, for women, for most women, is not just the act.
No, it's not just the act. It's the connection between, like it's a deeper connection.
Yes.
It's not one set apart thing.
Yes.
It's
So
I think
what are some of those things that you consider part of sex that we miss?
Let's say men come from work exhausted and for them it's easy for them to just have sex and just go back to bed, you know, and they're fine. I think
have the act.
Yeah, the act. Yeah. But for women, it's not like that. If you didn't ring me, if you didn't do all those preliminaries, there's no connection. You're coming and you're exhausted. I'm like thinking, the wife is like, well, I'm exhausted too.
So are you calling that sex? Are you calling that part? If I'm at work and I'm sending you messages and I'm saying how much I miss you and I love you and I could stay in touch. Are you calling that also part of sex?
I'm calling it part of sex. Why? Because the whole thing brings connection. To me, I don't know why, but I do not want them to be separated. I want them,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
whole.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
So you don't think sex is just two people on the bed or somewhere or in the car.
Yeah.
Or
That is something else.
yes, that is something else.
That's
That
something
is
else.
something else. But
Yeah.
for you feel like sex is the whole connection
Yes.
that leads to two people finding themselves enjoying the act.
Two people who are married,
Who are married.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about marriage.
husband and wife.
Husband and wife. Thank you for the
Preferably, yes.
clarification. Okay, so if there is no connection, you feel like no, that is not really sex.
Yeah,
that
I
is
feel
not.
like that's
If there's no
really-
connection.
yeah.
So for women, when most women think about sex, you think about all that. You think about the process,
Yeah.
the connection. Okay. Another thing is some research or some people believe, or science, even science behind it, there's some science behind it, that most men think of sex more than women. Do you guys think of sex?
We do. Yes, we definitely do.
Oh.
Think, yeah.
So
I
can you
think
prove
we
that
all-
to me? Because we don't think you do think about it. We think we are the only ones who think about
I
sex.
think you
You are
guys
really
think you think
clueless
about-
when it comes to how we
I think
we
you
feel
guys
about
think
sex.
about the act. You
Ah,
think
okay.
about the whole thing. Again, I'm coming back to some romance in there.
Yes.
And then a little bit of it's like a.
So you're
when
going
you-
back-
when you're cooking a nice meal.
Yes.
You need a few ingredients.
Yes.
You know, if you're cooking a beautiful like stew,
Yes.
you need a few garlic here.
Yeah.
A few onion.
Even though I don't like garlic, but it's fine. It's fine.
Onion. When you're making the meal, you need all those ingredients to make this meal delicious. To make that
Ah,
beef.
okay,
You
I
can't
get your
you
point.
can't cook a beef stew with just the beef by itself.
Yes.
It's not
Okay.
beef.
So when we are talking about sex, for men, we are talking about just the beef.
Stew.
The beef.
The beef, no,
the
the
beef
beef, not the
itself.
stew, the beef.
And we are saying this meat is really good, but we are not thinking about the salt, the water, the oil, and the tomato
Few
and all other ingredients,
spices, yeah.
spices that were put into it. So for you, when you're talking about sex, you are looking at the whole package
Exactly.
that makes it sex
Delicious, yeah.
delicious, and that is communication, that is romance, that is foreplay and all that. So you think about sex, you don't just think about the beef, you don't think about just the Scotch fillet. you you think about
The
all
whole
the
meal.
ingredients
Yeah.
when we talk about sex. So we think about it equally.
I think we think about it equally, but different perspective. It's
Different perspective.
So for I think for
Okay.
men, it's what's highlighted is the beef.
It's the
That's
beef.
the highlight of everything.
Yeah, like when I'm thinking about it, I'm just looking. Tonight, I'm having beef. I'm having beef. Yeah, nobody will say tonight I'm having some salt mixed with water and beef in it. No, you don't say that. You don't
Nobody
say
would eat
no.
the beef by itself if it's not spiced and stuff.
Yeah, but nobody
So,
also
see,
will just
that
say.
shows the perspective.
You
difference.
can't say I'm having water mixed with salt and spices and some beef in it. You can't say that. So I think our perspective is better because our perspective is we are going toward the main thing.
Yeah,
the
but
main
it's not
thing is the
realistic.
beef.
That's not realistic. I think we don't think about it the same way. We think about it, but not the same way. You guys think about the beef. We
Yes.
think about the whole meal.
Okay.
I think we're more realistic, actually.
No, I think we
realize
are
that.
more realistic. I think
Because
we.
you're not gonna eat
No, I
beef
think men are more
By
realistic.
itself, you eat the food, the deliciousness, if I may say,
Yes.
of the food comes from all the
spices.
spices and everything.
Yes.
Ooh, now my mouth is watering. I want some beef stew.
Your mouth is watering because of stew or because of sex? Which one? Which one makes you know?
You were gonna go.
So
Yeah.
some people say that men enjoy sex more than women. Is that true?
That's not true. I really think that's not true.
Yeah.
Again, I think they both enjoy sex,
Yes.
but the different perspective.
Yes, I think, babe, sorry to cut you short, but I think science has also proven that we men have longer orgasm. It means they enjoy for a long time, while men one is shorter. I think when it comes to enjoyment, it's not true that men enjoy sex more than women. It's
not true.
It's not scientifically proven. It's not.
I think the enjoyment comes from more, this is my perspective, more from the connection that you both have than necessarily the act. It's just no connection, no good sex.
Yeah, but for men, because we don't think about the ingredients, we don't think about the spices that you bring to that make the
dish,
the actual stew to be
delicious.
As it is. We kind of come just after the meat. We just come after the sex, and once we have the body there for us, most men will feel like, that's enough. That's enough. Like, you just come, have it, and leave and go. And I think that is the weakness for men, because we when we think of sex, we just think of the act, we just think of the intercourse, we just think of that kind of physical touch, and we forget the things that surround it. We forget all the connection around it. I think we need to do more as men to connect, and that, maybe that will lead us to a verdict. Now, what is the verdict? Do men want sex more than women? What is our verdict? You and I. Now, I think we can come to an agreement, because from the beginning you've been opposing me.
I'm not opposing.
You've been disagreeing with me. I think we now need to come to an agreement. So
I think I'm just right. That's all.
Oh, you are right, and I'm wrong. Okay, no problem. So you are saying women's perspective is different from men's perspective when it comes to how we define sex. When we are talking about sex, we should consider each other's perspective.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because
as men, you wanted to say something?
You go ahead. As men.
As men, I need to consider that when I think about sex, I'm thinking about the actual act. You are thinking about the connection and all that leads to the act.
Yeah.
So I need to pay attention to that. As men, we need to pay attention.
Well.
Yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of...
The beef stew is delicious.
Thank you. I'm thinking about other men who may be listening to me. That when we think about sex, we need to understand that it doesn't mean the same thing to my wife.
Yeah.
Sex for my wife means connection, means good communication, means foreplay, means preparation, means right time, right place, right everything.
It's a whole package.
It's a whole package. Because if I only think about the meat, about the action, then I'm selfish.
Yeah, that's true. You're not gonna have a good dish if you think about the meat.
But what about women?
I think women should know that for men it's
the act. Then you need to pay attention to that. sorry.
It's the act. The act is important to them.
Yes.
Not because the ingredients, the preliminary and all that is not important, but it just doesn't come first.
We don't think about it.
It's not the first.
It's not a priority for us. For us, you can have a meat without sugar, without salt or water or anything.
No,
just give me the raw meat.
Oh no.
And we'll eat it. That's man.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as a woman, we need to know that we're thinking differently. It's not that they don't want to do the preliminary and all that.
No, it's not that we don't want to.
No, it's not that. It's just they don't think like that. So that's why this is important. That's why the Bible says sex should be happening between a husband and a wife.
But babe,
because there's all these things around it. There
is something I want to address here, because I know some selfish women who want to live for weeks and weeks. Yes,
I've heard of them.
I've heard of them. I've heard men complaining about those women. I did not hear from women. I heard from men. Men will try everything they can to bring the salt and the spices and the onion that you like and all that to the dish, but the meat will never come. Like, the meat is not there. And some women will continue to live as if the meat doesn't exist and
Yeah.
just enjoy the ingredient without the meat. I think it's important for women to know that without meat there is no meal.
I agree with
There's no
you.
dinner.
Yeah, without meat, there's no dinner. You gotta
Yes.
have the real meat. There's so many situations in this.
Yes.
Maybe there's something wrong with their health, But if
I
it's
agree.
not health-wise,
Yes.
that's selfish. That's really bad.
It's selfish.
That's
And-
really bad because it's again we're talking about each other's need and
Yes.
the way we see that.
Yes.
It's not that men see it, want more sex than women, or women want more sex. I believe both of them want it,
From
but
different
from
perspective.
different perspective. The way they see it is a
I
bit
love
different.
that.
So as a woman, you need to know that about your husband. You need to
Yes.
know it's not that he doesn't want to do the some people need to be trained. Some
Yes.
people need to be taught. Some
I
husbands
love
need to be
that.
taught
I
about
love
how,
that, yes.
how. That's why they say, teach me
How to love you
teach me how
better.
to love you, or let me teach you how to love me.
Yes.
And so you teach them how you want to be loved, and then they will be able to love you, and then it will be a beautiful dish at the end of the story.
I think so. I think if our wives will keep paying attention to our perspective when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
And we will pay attention to your
Totally.
perspective, and everyone is trying to meet the other side. I think we'll have beautiful marriage,
Yeah.
healthy marriages. The man should always understand that when you talk about sex, the wife is not thinking about the actual intercourse. The wife is thinking about all the preliminaries. They think about communication, your connection. They think about your romance. They think about the attention you give to her. They think about all the foreplay and all the
whole
things that
package,
happened
yeah.
before they think about the actual act.
Yeah.
But women also must be aware that when we think about sex, we are not even remembering that the foreplay exists. We are just in the bed straight, And I think that is important for each side to consider the need of the other side and
Yeah.
be available
Yeah.
to meet the need.
Do you think though that's why the Bible says your body is not yours? It's your
Yes, I think
husband's?
that's why Paul addressed that in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. He said, wife should consider that her body is not hers and it's for the husband, and the husband should consider that his body is not his. I think that's what
Yeah.
the Bible is addressing.
That's a
that
great
you
explanation.
should not be selfish. You should understand that this belongs to your wife, that belongs to your husband.
Yeah. So
Don't
you should be
live for
willing.
yourself.
You should be willing to think about the other person.
Yes,
Think about
live
your
for the
husband.
other.
The best way to think about the other person, though, it can be training them, like letting
Yes,
them know
yes.
this is how I want to be loved, or this makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Even the act by itself, the sex by
Yes.
itself, it needs training. It
Yes.
needs to adjust.
Yeah, how do we enjoy this better? What do you want me to
Exactly.
do so that you can enjoy better?
Yeah.
I think couples should be able to communicate all that, and we can educate each other and talk about things that can make the relationship better. So our verdict is: women see or think about sex differently,
I think
and
so.
men see and think about sex from a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
And each side should pay attention, should consider the other side perspective, and try the best you can as a wife or as a husband to meet the need and try to understand the perspective
Exactly.
of
Each other. Yeah.
your spouse. That will make your sex life paradise.
You'll have an amazing, beautiful beef stew.
Beef stew.
That's it, guys, for today. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our podcast, and just give us some
Comment. Feedback.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
Yes. And don't forget to follow us
Yes, don't forget to follow us.
on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
When family is healthy, the nation is healthy.
Bye.
See you next time.